homie.
Well, let's go to Mike Dunn. Was it this one, John?
Yeah, so we kind of talked about this topic a little bit before, but basically his post is about kind of not doing well at his first competition and, how the experience was great for him anyway. And I kind of just wanted everybody to elaborate a little bit on how, it's worth it to try, even if you're not going to win your first competition, to kind of get that experience and just the feeling of overcoming an obstacle you think maybe you couldn't have.
Yeah.
That's spot on. You're not gonna win every event. You're not gonna win every show. I don't think anybody in the sport is undefeated, outside from a man or woman who walked up, won it once, and it's like, all right, I'm good. But it's testing yourself to see what you're capable of. And Josh said it earlier. You got to go out there and beat number one, and that's you. If you walk away from a contest and you've done better than you've done in the past, or, you were able to make it out, do a couple events, maybe do well at one or two and get through the rest, then you find that as success. And, if you look at all the people in the background of that picture, everybody's watching, everybody's rooting for you. You're rooting for your competition. You want to see them do well. I actually got into judging and promoting because I like to sit and watch the show. And as a judge, I literally get to watch every athlete attempt. And you ask guys and girls that have done my shows, I'm literally yelling at them and coaching them when I'm supposed to be their judge, and just, they're counting reps and giving them up down commands. But that kind of speaks to his experience. Maybe he didn't perform as well as he had hoped to, or as well as he did in training. But if you have a good time doing it, you're gonna make out with some sort of win every time.
Yeah, I think at the competition I went to, Grant Higa was the one, or Grant Higa, I think. He was the one that was reffing it and everything, and he was awesome because after almost every event, he'd pull people aside and he'd be like, "Hey, maybe try changing this next time," and he'd have like pointers and stuff for them. Almost every single event, he'd be pulling people aside and be like, "Hey, next time maybe do this a little differently," or during the competition. He'd be shouting pointers, like if they were doing tire flips or whatever else, he'd be giving pointers to them throughout. And it was kind of cool because, like, he'd still give them, a no rep or whatever if it was a bad rep. But if he could see that, they were struggling and everything else. And that was what hooked me on strongman too, was like going there and everybody was cheering and screaming for everyone else. And it was kind of funny because we had just had our oldest boy. So he's like 5-6 months old, something like that. And so like we'd go out and compete, and then you have all these like 300-pound, sweaty dudes, and as soon as they're done with their event, they come back, "Can I hold the baby? Can I blah, blah." And I was like, oh man, like everyone's just having a blast and like just, helping each other. And it was a ton of fun. I highly recommend it. If you're on the fence about going and doing a competition, just do it. Like it was well worth the experience.
Try anything at least once, right?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, within reason. There are some things you should never try, but strongman related, yes.
Even coming in last too, you beat the guy that didn't show up.
That's true.
That's a good point.
I was too scared to lose.
That's actually a great way to think about it too, because yeah, I know a ton of people in the gym that talk a lot, but they've never been to a competition. They've never actually put it on the line and said, how well will I actually go? But
yeah.
Man, I love food posts, by the way. So
yeah, I got to pee myself. I'm cooking. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Food, beer, and strongman. I like it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
a little bit of family post sprinkled in between.
Yeah, and a dog. You got to have a dog.
So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.